I'm like a storyteller. That's what I do, you know? Survivor is a big story. Who are the good guys and who are the bad guys? Who are the underdogs? Who is the audience going to be rooting for, whether consciously or not? What does the audience want to have happen? But they are not going to be happy that you are helping these three guys go further. And I'm not going to try to influence you to come over to my side. But I hope that you and Scoopin do the right thing and tell a better story.
I like Jonathan so much. I've learned so much from him out here. But man, my head is spinning. I still want to be loyal.
Listen, I don't want to get in your head. I'm not trying to. I'm just talking. This is my perspective on the story. And you're in the thick of it. You might be the fulcrum character.
That scene, when I first saw it, completely changed my mind on how I watch Survivor, and I have not gone back since, as you've seen by watching this channel. Now, after the disaster that was the all-newbie season 1 world, Survivor decided yet again to dip its toes into the Captain's season twist, but this time with an extra twist. These returnees are not next level strategists, but instead are people who, sure, they got on the show, they had some moments and got medically evacuated and are being given another chance. Does it pay off? Well, number 1, the theme.
Yeah! Hellbound wins immunity and reward! Matt Singh loses for the 4th straight time.
Same old crap. I just can't take this.
You've been going on breaking pots, talking to I don't know who, if you're talking to God.
I'm talking to God, Lord. I mean, Jeff.
You're just a guy.
I'm a guy who was formed by God's hands, a perfect creature. And as far as I'm concerned, that's the way I'm supposed to live my life, in excellence.
And that means never failing.
Yeah, right.
Not everyone can succeed at everything.
It pisses me off, but at the same time, logically, I understand.
Now, you would think after the previous failure of season 22 and to a lesser extent season 23 that Survivor wouldn't do a captain season again this soon, and yet they did. And I gotta say, this is the way to do it. I have always found Guatemala was the right approach to a captain season, and by that I mean bringing in players who are okay at the game of Survivor, like they're not super great, and you put them against newbies who are also, new, could be good, could be bad, and it makes for a far more balanced competitive environment than just putting savvy strategists like Boston Rob with newbies. So let's run through these 3 returnees, because despite the fact that yes, they are going to affect the character section of this review, really they're the theme of the season. Russell Swan, on paper, was a fantastic choice to bring back. He showed he was very much flawed as a player the first time around, and his near-death experience on Samoa draws the biggest what if. Like, what if he wasn't eliminated that season? What would have happened? Would Galoo still have collapsed in the post-merge? I believe Swan on this season made for compelling television for the 4 episodes he lasted, so not only was he a good idea on paper, he worked out as well. Jonathan Penner, on paper, is the most questionable player to bring back of the 3. Why is that? Well, I gotta be frank, I'm honestly surprised they didn't bring back Colton. Not that I personally wanted them to bring back Colton, it's just that Jeff was like praising Colton up and down after One World ended. You would think that that was the whole reason for this theme, is to bring back Colton, and yet he's not here. Penner went out on a knee injury that I gotta say is lesser than a lot of the injuries, especially when compared to like Swans or even Scoopins. You're like, really? That's the injury we're bringing back? But I gotta say, out of the 3 returnees, Penner gave us the most bang for the buck when it comes to returnees on this season. Penner brought it the most of the 3. So while on paper he seemed like the weakest, in the end he ended up being the best of the 3. Scoopin, on paper, made the most sense to bring back. He fell in the fire during Survivor's most watched season. And yes, he was a knucklehead prior to that moment and seemed to not be liked by his tribe, but everyone doesn't remember that. Everyone remembers that he fell in the fire. And yeah, he infamously did that. So bring him back for a season where, yeah, it's people who are pulled from the game for medical reasons. It makes sense on paper. In a way, he was the poster boy for this season. And even if I ignore what happened with Scoopin after the show ended, in my opinion, he brought the least value of the 3 returnees to this show. I'm not saying he brought no value. He brought some. It was just less bang for our buck than the other 2. Otherwise, what a great idea by the show. And this 100% should be done again. The thematic twist for Survivor Philippines gets a 9 out of 10. Number 2, production.
9th person voted out and the 2nd member of our jury. Jeff. Jeff, the tribe spoken.
You know what pisses me off? Is I think I've made about $60 million playing baseball, and I want this frickin' $1 million in this game. One of them, just one. Are you kidding me? And it's not even $1 million. It's 600 grand by the time Obama takes it.
Survivor is in the Philippines for the first time ever, and boy oh boy do I love it. It rains a lot. This adds so much to the story of the show, and when it isn't raining, it's beautiful. By far the best location Survivor has been to since Survivor Tocantins. I think Samoa and Nicaragua pale in comparison to the Philippines that we see in this season and in the next, because yes, they film in this location for the next season as well. The choice to do 3 tribes came as a necessity due to the choice of 3 returnees, and after having not done the 3 tribes since season 8, I think it worked out. Again, the demolition, the fall of Matt Singh reminds me of how Saboga got demolished in All-Stars, and ultimately shows that balancing 3 tribes instead of just 2 is a lot harder to do when it comes to challenges, but I think if they did it again, a 3-tribe season again after this, it could work out. Like, they could balance it, but it does seem to have been proven to be harder to do. I also think the fall of Matt Singh is actually more interesting, probably because it's so truncated in comparison to like the fall of Oolong, for example. Oolong takes so long to get through that whole tribe. Matt Singh, we burn through them real quick, and then Denise and Malcolm off to their tribe. So it doesn't make a rewatch of the season as hard to get through as it does for Palau. Like Palau, the first time, amazing. Second time, you're like, oh yeah, Oolong's gonna lose every time. Here, it's like, okay, but it's so short. It's only 4 episodes where Matt Singh gets decimated. As usual, the editing, it's a bit imbalanced, but I would argue it's the most balanced we've seen since season 19, which by the way, was the first time we saw Russell Hantz on the show. And this season is the first time that Russell Hantz is not shown or mentioned at all. And wow, did he affect a lot of Survivor if you think about it that way. From seasons 19 through 24, Russell Hantz is at least shown, mentioned, or like playing on the show. You know what I mean? Like, he is a part of the show, but this season, not mentioned once. All in all, a big step up from the past few seasons, and by far the best production we have seen since Heroes vs. Villains, despite the imbalanced edit at times, favoring the 3 returnees and the 2 famous people. The production quality of Survivor Philippines is an 8 out of 10. Do you want to tell me what videos I should make? Well, you can do that. The patrons on Patreon pick 3 videos or more for me to make every month, and you can too. You also get to watch everything I make up to 7 months early and join our Survivor Fantasy League. If you're interested, then there's a link in the description. Thank you for your support. Now with that, number 3, the strategy.
This whole ruse that I just threw on was just to fill out my tribe and exactly how I need to work things. It's just gonna be worse and worse and worse. So hopefully everybody loves me to the point to where they would rather have me as a hindrance than to keep Russell. I took my shot. I'm playing chess the best way I know how, and hopefully I'm gonna king me.
Man, the strategy of the season is all over the place. You have Zane playing 4D chess in confessionals and then not playing 4D chess with his tribe. But as I run through each player on this list, like thinking through the boot order and how they play the game, there's not a lot of big strategic moments. In fact, there seem to be more blunders than big strategic moments, if that makes sense. Did the game of Survivor get progressed forward this season? I don't know. A lot of the time, it felt like people were more than happy to sit on their hands, but you don't really notice because it's overshadowed by the sheer entertainment value most players brought to the season. But there are some standout moments still. Most notably for me is how Abby Maria faked that note that said you have a challenge advantage, and she's like, oh no, it's also an idol clue. And then she fakes having an idol and she bought herself a whole episode. She bought herself another 3 days on a fake idol clue. Denise and Malcolm being willing to cut each other at the end brought some unexpected intrigue. It's not often you see a tight duo cutting each other's throats at the very end of the game, and yet they were both willing to do it. And of course, seeing the decimation of Matt Singh and then having Denise and Malcolm once again integrate themselves into other tribes. And by the way, not even being targets was impressive. They made it to the final 4. They should have been gone a lot earlier. It wasn't flashy a lot of the time, but the characters attached to the strategy made it far more interesting than it really should have been. The strategy of Survivor Philippines gets a 7 out of 10. Number 4, the characters.
I just don't know if I can trust RC all the way because I feel that she's getting a little bit too close to Mike. I catch them whispering a little too much. I catch them switching conversations when I walk in. If she screws me over, that's it, she's dead to me.
I like Mike, but the plan is still in effect.
It doesn't matter if you like Mike or not, you're playing the game. You You and him go off together and you're always whispering and...
Yeah, but I feel the same way about you.
But we don't switch conversations when people walk up to us. You and Mike do, and it's obvious.
I wouldn't lie to you. I haven't lied to you, and you have no reason to think that I would lie to you.
I am your friend.
Me too.
But if it's with me, you're done. Seriously, you are done.
We've already talked about Swan, Penner, and Scoopin', so let's move on to the new players, starting with Jeff Kent and Lisa Whelchel, which is our famous people for this season. Yeah, Jeff is a Major League Baseball star who no one knew about. I mean, Dawson knew about him, but she didn't say a word, so no one ended up knowing about him. And in my opinion, he didn't do much to add to the entertainment value of the story being told this season. I know that's crazy to say, but right, he had that final speech talking about how Obama, takes his money or whatever. But outside of that, Jeff Kent, really not much of a value to the season story. Lisa, on the other hand, oh my gosh, she was wow. Her story is one of the best I've seen on Survivor ever. There's so much depth that got to be explored over only 39 days. And yes, I've seen her act, and you can tell whether Lisa's acting or not, and here she's being genuine. It made her one of the most, if not the most compelling character this season in my mind. Malcolm is kind of the ideal millennial. Like, a lot of us millennials aspire to play like Malcolm, to be like Malcolm on Survivor. Let's put it that way, even if he did fumble his game come Final 5. Denise, we're gonna talk about her in the winner section, but to know that I like her, of course. Abby Maria brought mad drama, and while a lot of people seem to not like this, which I was surprised to find out, I do. I like the mad drama. Every season needs a good villain who gets knocked out and loses, and she fits the bill perfectly, and the fact that she made it to Final 5 makes it even better. I do see that many people like RC, and my thought on her is that I think she was given a favorable edit. You see, Scoopin's the only person this season shown to like her, and come on now, Scoopin, are we really trusting Scoopin now in terms of like how to think? Come on. We saw RC being extremely salty and bitter on Ponderosa, and that revealed to me more than what I saw with RC on the island. Like, we saw a lot of people's reactions to RC on the island, but we never really understood why. But then you see how RC was acting on Ponderosa, and you're like, oh, yeah, she's probably acting like this on the island too. They just cut around it to make her more likable. She seemed extremely salty and bitter a lot of the times. Yeah. And kind of like talked in that passive aggressive way where it's really annoying. Zane was an amazing first boot. What more can I say? Dawson jumping Jeff was top tier in only a way that I think she could get away with. Do you think Jeff reacts the same if Malcolm does it? Well, now that I say that, maybe he could. Anyways, the characters are so important to a season, so their score gets twice the weight, and the characters of Philippines get an 8 out of 10. Number 5, the winner.
It's like the first date with the kid who like pulled your hair all the time in kindergarten or like spit in your lunch, and then suddenly you're on a date and it's like, wow.
Next tribal is my last chance to play my idol.
That's true. She keeps talking about having the hidden immunity idol. None of us believe she has one, not even for a minute, but it's just trying to get through the afternoon and make it as tolerable as it can be. I want to hang myself, gouge my eyes out. If I could have like needles that could just go right into my eardrums, I'd be good for the afternoon.
Denise, surprisingly, upon rewatch, I did not realize this, but Denise was cold-blooded. I know, that isn't how most of us remember her winning game. Most of us recall her surviving the fall of Matt Singh and being close with Malcolm until she cut him at the end only out of necessity. But really, that's Denise. It was all business. It was nothing personal. She survived every tribal council, talked smack about Abby Maria behind her back multiple times, and then at Final Tribal told everyone that she is better than them, so they should just vote for her. And let me say, she needed to do this. Lisa took the empathetic mom figure approach and got no respect as a result. Denise played cold, got called a B by Penner, and won handily. It wasn't wildly entertaining in my mind, but it was solid and respectable. Denise's story and strategic play scores an 8 out of 10. So should you watch season 25 Philippines? Absolutely. And unlike most returnee seasons, this one requires zero knowledge of past seasons. Like, sure, seeing Survivor Samoa, Australian Outback, and even Micronesia helps, but this season can stand on its own and be equally entertaining without the context of the returning players past season, and that is not something I often say. This season is solid on its own, it's above average, it's a good time, but you won't find many calling it a top 5 season, but I think most people can agree, top 15. Survivor Philippines' overall score is an 8 out of 10. Tune in next time as we review Survivor Karamoan, aka Fans versus Favorites 2. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you all next time. Bye.